Tonight, COVID-19 confirmed in Broken Hill. A case travels in the community while potentially infectious. And Port Pirie residents meet their 3 Stuart State election candidates.
From our 7 Spencer Golf Studios, your nightly news with Ruby Kamain begins now.
Good evening. We begin with some breaking news tonight. New South Wales Health has confirmed a Broken Hill resident has tested positive to COVID-19 and is isolating at home. Testing, vaccinations and contact tracing are now ramping up as officials work to identify their movements in the community. Our reporter Lachlan Itter will bring you a full rundown on the case, as well as vaccination efforts in the city.
It is the news we've all been fearing. COVID has made a return to the far west after more than 400 days without a case. The case attended a funeral in Whyalla. A number of guests have since tested positive. The Broken Hill case has been infectious since the 13th and became symptomatic yesterday.
They're in good spirits and they obviously have symptoms, but it's being managed quite comfortably.
Local health issuing an urgent call for anyone with the mildest of symptoms and those who have recently shown symptoms to get tested.
I think as of about 12, we already had over 170 people come through. We're trying to direct traffic to some of our other sites.
Memorial Oval is our largest testing clinic that operates from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. In the south, Elmer Oval has drive-through testing available from 11:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. A pop-up clinic at the Aged Persons Rest Centre also operating during those hours.
I would really advise people to really be clear in the communication with our contact tracers about their whereabouts and their movements. That is really critical.
This is of course a developing situation. We will keep you up to date through 7 Spencer Golf News and our Facebook page.
Lachlan has more on vaccinations in the city now. 2 Broken Hill businesses are teaming up to offer free meals with COVID jabs in a bid to drive up the region's low rate. Natchia Pan's vaccination clinic, opening at the Musos yesterday, already showing promising results.
Coffee, cake and a COVID jab, hoping to make vaccination as comfortable as possible.
They seem a lot happier. They've got a carrot cake and a cuppa following the vaccination, which is something I think other providers are not able to do.
Natchia Pan Surgery and the Musicians Club teaming up to offer COVID vaccinations in a less clinical setting. Patients given refreshments during their supervision period afterwards and a food voucher to spend when the club reopens.
We'll extend them by 3 months to give you plenty of time to use them, and obviously we'll be trading under capacity limits.
As of last Monday, the Far West and Orana had one of the lowest vaccination rates in the country, just 16.3% of people fully immunised.
They've been trying and unfortunately not being as successful as they'd like to be, so I thought why not try something different, and we'd like to contribute.
While a free feed and more relaxed setting is only a small incentive, it seems to be working. In its first day of operation, Natchia Pan staff administered twice as many jabs as they would at their practice.
Hopefully people will respond in a favourable way and we'll get more coming out and bring us out of this situation we're in now.
Bookings can be made through the Musicians Club. Lachlan Itter, 7 Spencer Golf News.
Meanwhile, South Australia's border has slammed shut to the Northern Territory following a new case of COVID-19 reported yesterday. As of 6 last night, travellers from the north of the Central Desert and Barkly local government areas on or after August 12 are not permitted to enter. Essential travellers or permitted arrivals will be subjected to level 4 requirements, having to quarantine for 14 days and get tested. It comes as a man in his 30s tested positive and spent time in the community while infectious. To today's other news now, and police have renewed calls for public assistance regarding a Whyalla robbery occurring 2 years ago. On August 8, 2019, 3 men entered the gaming room of the new Whyalla Hotel, armed with a hammer and a large sledgehammer. One of the men jumped the counter and entered the manager's office. A large quantity of cash was then stolen. They fled in a stolen grey Nissan Skyline. Anyone with information is asked to contact Crime Stoppers. The Port Pirie community had an opportunity to meet their 3 Stuart candidates for the upcoming March state election at a forum last night. Questions were put to each of them about issues important to the city and how, if elected, they plan to resolve them.
Just 7 months out from the next state election, 3 Stuart candidates sharing their intentions at a community forum last night.
I think it's quite an interesting outcome last night, never before done in the Port Pirie Regional Council.
Channel 7's Mike Smithson posing questions to the candidates about issues outlined in Council's state election platform document released earlier this month.
Council, to their credit, had provided a very detailed document, so it allowed me the opportunity to have a look at the issues.
Health and the doctor shortage, major topics. Hospital upgrades and a new clinical simulation training laboratory identified as important for the city.
The problem is so severe, and we have 2 people of influence who have been around a long time. Why in the bloody hell hasn't something happened before now?
In 2014 to 2018, yes, maybe I could have been able to facilitate that. But at the same time, my main focus was the near start down another end there, and also other opportunities for all of regional South Australia.
Also on the agenda, lead abatement and changing the city's reputation.
I see this as the most important issue, but it is connected to health, connected to housing, connected to employment.
The current member for Stuart acknowledging results have not been delivered.
But let me just say, I take, from the government's perspective, I take personal responsibility for this program. The results have not been good enough. Too many kids have too much lead in their blood in Port Pirie. It's unacceptable.
A lack of childcare facilities, as well as health facilities, housing, jobs and low lead levels, all recognised as crucial for the city. Preferences were also discussed as to whether Labor would share theirs with Jeff Brock. Mr Brock responding the party should never tell anyone who they're going to give their preferences to.
It's up to the people out there to make that choice.
Each saying they are committed to the new seat of Stuart should they get elected.
They're all important, and I'm not going to divulge my plan. This is tonight. I haven't said everything tonight, and all the questions that are asked to me tonight are not everything that's on my wish list and my agenda going forward.
There's no stronger advocate for regional South Australia than me. Our government is determined to get the balance right, determined to make sure that South Australian people, wherever they live, get all of the services from government that they deserve, that they need.
If we can fix the hospitals and the job situation here in and around this area, then I think a lot of the other problems might eventually resolve as well.
Katrina Musson, 7 Spencer Golf News.
Still to come tonight, more than $50 million set to boost road safety across South Australia, and the state government's push to get local businesses exporting overseas. Welcome back. 13 new road safety projects spanning 570 kilometres are set to be fast-tracked across South Australia. A $52.7 million package enabling upgrades to be completed this financial year. The announcement, building on the $104 million joint funding under the Road Safety Program announced in January, supporting 15 projects across the state. It's hoped the shovel-ready upgrades will be delivered quickly, helping to save more lives. A special Port Augusta Council meeting was held last night to discuss different annual business plan models. The council opting not to move forward with the original plan that could have seen residents pay 40% more in council rates, instead choosing a second similar option but based on the lower residential land use cap being offset by the operating reductions. Rates will increase by 2.7%, with the council to find $500,000 in services elsewhere to break even. After closing during the lockdown, Port Augusta's Arid Lands Botanic Gardens has bounced back, with plenty of visitors walking through the gates. Its success leading to the community wondering if paid entry into the site would help the council's financial situation.
A place to discover the beauty of Australia's arid heart. The Australian Arid Lands Botanic Gardens, a long-running staple of any trip through the Port Augusta region.
And Arid Lands is always a fantastic place to visit. It's got fantastic food, great environment. And they've got the kid play area and the kid garden there now, so you can let your children run around safely in there. So the numbers have been increasing, and I believe they'll continue to increase now.
After a brief closure during the state coronavirus lockdown, the gardens are experiencing a rise in visitors, made of a mix of tourists and local community members heading out for a coffee. The Gardens this week even holding nighttime community events for children to experience the site after hours.
Exploration of the Aridlands Botanic Gardens after dark, exploring the garden under torchlight, looking for all of the critters that are out and about.
The success of the ratepayer-funded gardens leading to members of the community suggesting whether a paid entry system should be implemented by the council. It comes as the new annual budget suggests that the council will need to find $500,000 in community services this coming year.
That's one of the things we have had discussions about. We need to continue to discuss those things. Do we charge a fee? What sort of fee do we charge? What do we do with the fee when we get it?
Edward McCarroll, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
The state government has announced a new national trade program to help get South Australian companies ready to export overseas. The program is set to support local companies in developing their export capabilities through targeted mentoring and training sessions.
The state government aiming to back South Australian businesses to market their products on a national and international stage.
This national trade program would help provide a small step for South Australian companies to be able to build their capacity and build confidence in terms of sending their products to another state.
The $1.13 million support program set to help South Australian companies in their efforts to expand their exporting markets. The Minister for Trade and Investment says there is an opportunity for local companies to grasp the market.
So we know that South Australians have some great produce that's very desirable, but especially with international travel being so restricted.
Also wanting specific sectors to get on board.
Key sectors we're trying to really leverage into is the food, wine and beverage sector, whether that's alcoholic or non-alcoholic, but also some health-related products and also beauty-related products.
The Minister encouraging Eyre Peninsula businesses to join the program.
Market for South Australian and Eyre Peninsula produce overseas, and we want Eyre Peninsula companies to really take hold of that and help grow their business.
The bespoke program targeting retail-ready products. Head to the Department for Trade and Investment website for more information. Dylan Smith, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
Stay with us after the break. Port Lincoln sporting and community groups to receive cash help following COVID-19 struggles. And Port Augusta residents learn more about native wildlife in a special show. Hello again. Bendigo Bank Port Lincoln has introduced a grant program to help struggling businesses. The bank seeking community feedback from local organisations through the middle of the COVID-19 pandemic.
Extending a helping hand to local community organisations struggling over the past 18 months.
Community groups and those sort of people starting to do it tough, clubs and that sort of thing, people not being able to go to their clubs not being able to have their sausage sizzles and chook raffles and all that sort of stuff. So it was a branch initiative.
The Bendigo Bank in Port Lincoln identifying the need to help struggling groups remain viable throughout the pandemic, providing a massive boost for the whole region.
$80,000, I think, just short of that, 41 different clubs. So it was virtually $2,000 a club.
The funding helping the EP Book Bazaar to set up a new point of sale system, offering patrons the opportunity to pay with EFTPOS. The Eyre Peninsula Community Foundation pleased with the digital improvement.
It was an absolute game changer for the foundation and for the Book Bazaar.
The new system improving revenue for the shop.
It hasn't just been worth its own investment in terms of replacing cash. We've definitely seen a significant increase in turnover since it went in.
Bendigo Bank highlighting the important role these organisations play within the community.
Don't want to see those little clubs disappearing because it's amazing how many people in the community have their club they go to, they catch up with people.
Dylan Smith, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
Port Augusta residents have been treated to a free community wildlife show. The demonstrators allowing the audience to get up close and personal with native animals.
Face to face with wildlife. The South Australian Arid Lands Landscape Board funding a series of free community wildlife shows in Port Augusta.
We want to say a big thank you to SA Arid Lands Landscape Board for organising us and some of our favourite Australian native animals to be here tonight for Science Week.
The shows presented by Animals Anonymous, a mobile team of demonstrators and environmental educators. the team bringing native marsupials, reptiles and birds to the Central Oval audience.
So we're a mobile team of wildlife demonstrators that travel around South Australia, and we bring native animals that are friendly and tame to try to engage people with some of the conservation issues we have here in South Australia.
In the theme of Science Week, organisers hope that the shows raise awareness about the fragile nature of local ecosystems around us, whilst also encouraging the next generation to learn about our wildlife and local biodiversity.
So we've got a hands-on show with some of our favourite Australian native animals, and we're going to meet some of the community, and they're going to meet some animals that they might have living in this area.
Edward McCarroll, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
As South Australia nears the end of winter and enters spring, experts are warning the community of the dangers of magpie swooping season. The Department for Environment and Water says magpies usually breed between August and October and is encouraging people to change their route if they travel in a known swooping area. Travelling in groups, carrying an open umbrella and avoiding eye contact are other ways to avoid an attack. Stay with us after the break. We'll have all the results from weekend sport games across the regions. And Alex Sykes will join us with the weather details. See you shortly. Welcome back. It's another week of competition for the region's sports teams, following the resumption of play due to the lifting pandemic restrictions the week before. With all the details and results, here's Mark Zeta.
With excellent weather conditions over the weekend, sporting teams across the Spencer Gulf made the most of it in their matches. Starting off with Whyalla Netball A grade, and Kiwi defeated YCW by 47 goals. In the other match, True Blue racked up 63 goals in its win over Ravens. Moving over to the Port Pirie Netball Association, and Blue Wren defeated Solomon Town 59 goals to 54. SM Celtic won against their match against Central Risdon by 3 goals. Player of the Week was awarded to Blue Wren's Matty Young. On Sunday, Solomon Town had a 57-36 goal victory against SM Celtic, while Central Risdon came away with a 2-goal win against Port. Port's Amanda Bowman was Player of the Week. Moving over to Port Augusta, ladder leaders Railways had an easy win against the Vikings. While on Saturday, Corn, who were fresh off an upset win last week, were narrowly defeated by St Joseph's 59-55. Down in Port Lincoln, only 1 goal separated Boston and Imperial, with the away side taking the win. While in the other Friday game, Wayback comfortably defeated the Whyalla Rangers. Moving to soccer, and in the NPL State League 2, the Northern Demons were defeated by Adelaide University SC 3-0. The Demons next faced Pontian Eagles SC on Wednesday night at the Yalumba Drive Reserve. In the Amateur League, Port Pirie's Savoy came away with a 4-goal win. Moving to the Whyalla Soccer Association, Steel defeated Westlands 4-3, while Lions defeated Wanderers. Finally, in round 13 of Whyalla 8-ball pool, Sham Thistle won against Whyalla City 5-4, and the Senators won against Lions Gold. That's it for the weekend sports wrap. If you would like your team featured in our next bulletin, let us know through our Facebook page.
Time now to take a look at what's happening in the weather. Here's Alex Sykes.
Thanks, Ruby, and good evening, everyone. Well, it was a mainly fine day across the region today with the odd shower here and there. From 3 p.m, Port Augusta was partly cloudy and 17, Port Pirie reached 15, and Cooper Pedy was sunny and 20 degrees. Looking further out now, Whyalla, Kadina, Coffin Bay and Cleve all partly cloudy and 14. There were showers for Port Lincoln and Adelaide, also both 14. Broken Hill was mostly sunny and 15. Woodner was partly cloudy, also 15. Clare reached 13 degrees. Taking a look at the satellite image now, low cloud across South Australia's southeast in brisk winds is causing just the odd light shower, clear elsewhere under high pressure. Moving on to tomorrow's weather outlook now, and we'll start with the Gulf waters. Variable winds below 10 knots, seas below 1 metre, and south to southwesterly swell 2 to 3 metres, decreasing to around 2 metres by late evening. A short time ago, there were no warnings for South Australia. To tomorrow's temperatures now, mainly fine conditions. Port Lincoln mostly sunny and 18, Cleve to reach 19, Woodner set to top 21, Whyalla mostly sunny and 20 degrees, Port Augusta to top 21, Kadina mostly sunny and 17, Port Pirie mostly sunny and 19 degrees, morning frost and mostly sunny for Clare 16, and Broken Hill mostly sunny and 17 degrees. Taking a look further through the week now, mainly fine conditions across the Gulf, sunny for Cooper Pedy, Broken Hill and Port Augusta, showers for Port Lincoln, partly cloudy elsewhere. Partly cloudy for Cooper Pedy and Broken Hill on Friday, showers across the rest of the region, temperatures averaging in the mid-20s, getting as high as 30. And a squeeze at the weekend forecast now, showers for Kadina, Adelaide and Port Lincoln on Saturday, partly cloudy everywhere else, temperatures mainly in the high teens to low 20s. So Ruby, it appears some wet conditions are on their way for the back end of the week. And that's all the weather from me for tonight. Back to you.
Great, thanks for that, Alex. And that's the local news this Tuesday evening. Thanks for joining us. I'll have updates later. Until then, enjoy your evening. Good night.